imagine the CDC not being there. That's it there. Basically what you're going to do is suspend the pupa nymph close to the surface, and this is the way you do it. It's a very popular style, a nice fly to tie, but what I actually do here is put CDC plume in front, because I'm getting old and a bit blind, and it helps, especially if you can get some dyed CDC that you can actually get close to the caddis pattern that you're trying to represent. It's a very simple fly to tie, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Now the thread I'm using is a Unithread 80 in brown, that brown. And I'm simply going to put down half a dozen turns or so, remove the base piece and then come back up, because I'm going to tie in the CDC plume just now. It doesn't have to be the best piece or best CDC plume, just some of the old stuff at the bottom will do the job. Just tie it on the top. I'll do a couple of loose turns and then pull it in. It's just so you can see it. It's something that I like to have on it. And if you think it's causing a problem, then you can easily cut it away. And come in at a slight angle and trim away the waste. I mean, you could use whatever colour over the front if you want. But if you imagine the caddis coming off, it actually comes off really quite steep when it's hatching. And the fish can see it, I can see it, so if I can see it, then certainly the fish can see it. Now I'm going to take the thread down all the way along, just before we get round the bend. Then I'm going to use, this is a golden badger, it's a saddle hackle, croc saddle hackle. The two I like to use is the grizzle, same again. Grizzle's very good, certainly worth having some with the grizzle and some without. In the lighter coloured flies I would use the grizzle more, but in the brownier coloured flies I like using the golden badger. Now what I'm going to do is simply pull away some of the fibres and reveal the stem of the hackle and tie it in. Now I'm going to show you something that, but sometimes when I want a tail, if you're tying these flies, what you can actually do is you tie part of the hackle with some of the fibres on, and as you wind up you've got a tail. He leaves behind these wee fibres which helps to lift it, which is another thing you can actually do with this fly. It helps to keep the back of it up, but in this case I don't need it, so I'm going to tie it in just onto the bare stem and then take a thread up, making sure it's well tied down. Now I'm going to use two colours. I'll use a golden stone in this case. Now this is the Montana Fly Company. This is a UV frog here, which is a great dry fly dubbing, but you'll see a kind of white or blue white fleck on there. That's the UV, which works with light. It's not fluorescent, meaning glows in the dark type stuff. It basically catches the light and gives that wee twist of light that you can actually get close to the surface. Now as I say, this is a golden stone, and the other one I'm going to use is a dark browny colour, which is called salmon fly. I'm going to put the lighter colour to the back. Now you want the pupa shape, so don't be shy with the dubbing. Just come in, start it at the back, form a nice shape, build it up. There we go. So you want that nice depth in the nymph, and then you want your salmon, which is, as I say, it's got a nice blend of colour. It's slightly darker. You always want it darker on the thorax. Again, don't be shy with the dubbing. Build it up first. Just imagine you're forming a nice pupa shape, and then bring your thread to the front. And go back, yes, we tied too much there. Always go back if you're not happy. Bring your thread to the front and then bring your hackle up. Now you're looking around about 4 turns or so is plenty. Just lift your CDC out of the way, come in with your thread and then catch it down. A good 4 or 5 turns, and then come in and trim away the waste. Now I'm going to wax the thread at this point to make sure, see when I whip finish, it's going to keep it nice and tight, and it basically, you don't need to varnish it. I'd just leave it at that. But if you're not happy with that, you just varnish it if you want, nothing wrong. I get through these quite reasonably quick, so now there you go. Now that's your SuperPupa. You see, right hairy wee beastie. Now you could keep it like that, or what you're actually meant to do, first things I like to do is just slightly flatten it a wee bit, because I'm going to start trimming some of the fibre away. Just come in straight underneath, so it allows it to sit really flat. Just trim away. It's important sometimes, you really need to get it nice and flat. It makes a huge difference. And then again on the top, just come in all the way down, and there we go. Now make sure when you're going to fish this, you gink it well, or I use muslin, just a silicone, and it floats as much. As long as you keep it dry, it'll sit. And there you are, and that's your SuperPupa, and a good colour combination that works well. And as I say, you just mix and blend to suit the pattern or the species you're trying to represent, and tie them in whatever sizes. Again, you could trim this down if you think that's not going to work, because sometimes that does make a difference, but usually there's a nice wee ripple and you can't see it too well. Then you can, this kicks in and gives that impression of the nymph starting to emerge. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that, and that there's your SuperPupa.